Hello everyone, a very sick Sue from PhillyBeatzU here. An Indigo disc play review from the Japanese website Denfaminicogamer just dropped. In it there is a lot of new information on gameplay features that we have never heard of before or just recently learned about in the recent trailer. In this video, I'm going to be providing a brief explanation of key points and information in this article. Because I have a bad cold that just refuses to go away, and I probably sound like an 80-year-old lifetime smoker right now, the translation won't be word for word but a brief translation. But rest assured, all the important information will be covered. Additionally, the editing and formatting of this video will be more lax than usual. I'm sorry for the lower quality finish, but with being sick I wanted to focus on getting this information out above all else. Before we start, I just want to say that this article and all of the images belong to Denfaminicogamer. I do not own any aspect of this content in any way. The video is purely for educational purposes to explain what is written in Japanese to non-Japanese speakers. This article is written by Jisu Maroku. The article states by giving a brief overview of the events of the Teal Mask, then stating that the story of the Indigo disc continues on from when the events of the Teal Mask finished. After the conclusion of the school excursion to Kitakami, the player decides to go to Blueberry Academy, the sister school to Uva and Naranja Academy. This is also the school that Carmine and Kieran attend. Here it states that the story seemingly isn't constrained to just the Blueberry Academy, but continues in Paldea as well. The article states what we learned previously, that the Terradome is divided into 4 areas: the Savannah area, where there is fast-spreading nature; the Canyon area, where there are many high-rising mountains; the Tropical Coast area; and the Polar area, which seems to have a severe freezing feel. The scenery and Pokemon that inhabit the 4 areas are very different. The power of science is truly amazing, isn't it? The author then states that they get the impression of a contrast when compared to the village of Kitakami, which had a more nostalgic atmosphere. During the playthrough, the author was able to use Archelodon being the evolution of Duraludon. While Duraludon reminds the author of a building, upon evolving into Archelodon, it more so resembles a bridge. Additionally, when on the field, if Archelodon falls asleep, its sleeping animation really resembles a bridge. The author then goes on to explain Archelodon's new move, Electro Shot, which they describe as basically an electric-type solar beam. The author then goes on to explain how whenever they get to play an early playthrough of a Pokemon game, they always use the team provided to them by the Pokemon Company. In the case of this playthrough, they were given a team consisting of Archelodon, Skeledirge, Hitmontop, Flygon, Scrafty, and Talonflame. When receiving this team, the author thought, what a strong team, why these 6? But they eventually came to understand the purpose of such a team. The author now shifts to talk about the legit challenge that the students of the Blueberry Academy present, starting off by stating that the Blueberry Academy is a school that has a strong focus on battles. The Dome is a facility built with the purpose to nurture and develop strong trainers. And additionally, double battles have become the mainstream in the school. The impression is that the students of Blueberry Academy are really strong. Wanting to test out Archelodon, the author challenged a random NPC trainer who used more ferocious than usual tactics. The author was also stunned when an NPC trainer they battled in the Savannah area sent out a Pokemon holding a life orb. The author goes on to state that the NPCs are seriously serious. As odd as that sounds to say. The author then recommends that because the battles are double battle format, to think and plan carefully when battling. Providing an example, when battling the trainer mentioned earlier, the author set up an electroshock, but the opponent's Mandibuzz naturally prevented it by using Protect, meaning the author had wasted 2 turns. The author couldn't believe that they were feeling cornered by these random NPC trainers, to the point where they only had 2 Pokemon left. But this was when they understood why they were given the team they had. All of these Pokemon are good in double battle settings. Talonflame even had Tailwind and Heatwave. Moving over to the Blueberry Elite Four, the author introduces the member of the Elite Four and goes on to explain that during their early playthrough, they were able to challenge Amaris. They mentioned that just like the Paldea Gym challenges, there is not only a battle but a task to complete as well. In the case of Amaris, the challenge is to fly through hoops in the sky on your box legendary within a time limit. If you have the skills, you can just keep on going. Following the talk of Amaris' challenge task, the author goes on to explain the long-desired feature of free flight. From Indigo Disc, Miraidon and Koraidon will acquire the new ride style called Hiko, meaning flight. The author explains that this lets you move around freely in the sky while riding on your box legendary Pokemon, in the same way you have been able to move on land and sea until now. It's simple to use. Once you are riding on Koraidon or Miraidon, you jump using the B button, press the B button again to glide. From this point, you use the left stick to gain buoyancy. The author also hints that you may discover new things in Paldea while using free flight. The author clarified that the free flight feature is unlocked as you progress through the story of the Indigo Disc. After completing Amaris' flight challenge, the author proceeded to battle, and much to their surprise, they lost. They felt stunned. Their aim was to play through the trial play as fast as possible so they could experience as much as possible. But they lost the first battle. Why? Because as the author put it, Amaris is insanely strong. The author doesn't go into detail about the team and battle strategy used by Amaris, but does explain that it was a tough calculated battle from the first Pokemon to the 6th. The Pokemon types, the order, the roles and abilities of the Pokemon, terrestrialization and even the items. Everything is very calculated. The style and severity of battle reminded the author of battling against Sinnoh's Elite Four and Champion Cynthia. Basically put, the author thinks that while playing the Indigo Disc, and especially while battling the Blueberry Elite Four, you will need to put more thought and strategy into battling the normal. The next topic covered in the article is the League Club. The League Club is one of the rooms found within the Blueberry Academy. The author likened it to a school's club room. The author explains that to begin with, you are able to earn points called Blueberry Points, BP for short. By using these BP, you can take on challenges such as the Elite Four challenge. However, the author doesn't specify if this means the Paldean Elite Four or the Blueberry Elite Four. Overall, the Blueberry Points seem to have various uses. From the support board, which can be opened on the League Club's computer, you can obtain various benefits. Some examples are changing the way you throw the Pokeball, improving the environment so more Pokemon will appear in the dome, and redecorating the League Club room. The author goes on to say that the BP support board is not the only fun aspect of the League Club. For the author, the particular highlight was being able to invite special instructors to the League Club. This feature will be unlocked after clearing the Indigo Disc. With this feature, you can invite familiar trainers whom you battled with in the Paldea region. The author invited Iono, and was able to take a photo together. While stopping for a minute to think, they wondered if it was safe to take a selfie with a famous streamer. But oh well, they are the Paldean champion, so it's probably okay, right? The author goes on to explain that it's not only the gym leaders who can be invited to the League Club. For example, the Paldean Elite Four can also be invited. Maybe you can invite Rika to join you in the club room. Additionally, you can also have rematch battles with trainers who come to the League Club. But the author mentions that these battles are a lot more challenging, as everybody battles more seriously. The author then explains that BP are a special recreation in the Blueberry Academy. BP can be obtained by completing missions called Burureku in Japanese. I'm assuming this would be something like Blueberry Recreation in English. Basically put, it's kind of like subquests. If you press the left directional button, a list of Burureku will be viewable. Two examples that the author listed were knock out 10 Pokemon in auto battles and catch 1 Pokemon. With simple tasks like this, you can get some BP. However, the author does say that the BP seem to disappear over time. Next, the author moves to the newly revealed feature, Synchro. The author first explains that to access this device feature, you need to help a researcher in the dome with the Japanese name of Synchromi. To explain it simply, it's a function that allows players to play as Pokemon by synchronizing with Pokemon on the field. When synchronizing with a Pokemon, you can run around the area from the Pokemon's point of view. While in sync state, there are two main things which can be done: exploration and battling with wild Pokemon. Naturally, you can't talk with NPCs while in sync mode. But the main part of this feature is the fact that it's not limited to a certain amount of Pokemon, but can be used with any Pokemon in the game, and you can explore anywhere in the dome while in sync mode. When the author first gained access to the sync feature, they decided to sync with Hitmontop. They were able to experience walking around town and the mountains as Hitmontop, and they were able to experience battling as Hitmontop. What really impressed the author was that sync mode matches different Pokemon. For example, when the author synced with Flygon, it was flying in the air the entire time. Because of this, if you are synced with a flying Pokemon, even if you descend from a high place, such as a mountain in the polar biome, rather than falling vertically like the player character would, you instead fly. The author also tested this with Talonflame. For the author, the feeling of being able to move as Pokemon and explore reminded them of the Wii game, Pokepark Pikachu's Adventure. The last topic that the author details in this article is the ability to encounter legendary Pokemon of past games. The author states by explaining that this is a feature that is accessible after completing the story of the Indigo disc. To encounter legendary Pokemon, you will first meet with Oyatsu Oyaji, who is called Snacksworth in the English version. Snacksworth will appear in the Blueberry Academy after clearing the game. From Snacksworth, you will obtain snacks that appear to be the favorite food of these legendary Pokemon. The author gives a little hint to the type of character that Snacksworth is, writing, "As for the type of character he is, laughing, 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 look forward to it after you clear the game. It seems like Snacksworth will be an interesting character." The author goes on to explain the way in which snacks work. To explain it simply, if you have a Pokemon's preferred snack in your possession, you will be able to meet that Pokemon. When you obtain a snack from Snacksworth, you will also be given a hint about the location of the corresponding Pokemon. For example, Rayquaza is said to be found near a rock cliff where there are many clouds to be seen. After you travel to the location, you will encounter the Pokemon in battle, and as is the standard, you will need to capture the Pokemon in battle. Additionally, the music played during the Rayquaza encounter is Battle Super Ancient Pokemon from the Oras games. The author goes on to say how they are excited to encounter Ho-Oh because they love the music for Ho-Oh. And with that, the author begins to bring the article to a close. They explain that they enjoyed the game and that it is plenty of fun. For them, the most impactful element was just how challenging the battles are, even to the point that they think that the strategy of pushing through the story with a team of level 100 mons might not be enough. They go on to say that their only regret was that they were not able to meet Lacey in their trial playthrough. All in all, judging by the author's explanation, it seems like our time in Blueberry Academy might contain the most challenging battles we have all experienced as Pokemon trainers, with a few fun new features sprinkled in. Other than this article, there is also another trial review by Famitsu. As of recording, I haven't read through it properly, but it probably covers the same details, but from another person's perspective. If there is enough demand for it, and I start to feel a little bit better, I will cover that article too. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing and sharing this video. I'm so sorry, most of the time my voice is a little bit better than this. But nonetheless, I hope you have found this video helpful. But for now, it's time to say bye bye. Matta ne.